Hey guys, I'm Katie from Paraapsis Press.
I'm David.
I have had a lot of excitement today and yesterday too on Twitter. So today we're just going to do something chill. Unwind. Talk about whatever crazy topics we want to.
Did you ever find those comments?
I don't know what I was looking at. I must have.
There's some kind of dashboard where you can look through.
Yeah, absolutely. There
on
is.
YouTube, right? That might be a good spot to look.
Yeah, I could take a look here.
If you can find like a particular video that it's on, I can bring it up on my computer.
Sure. Comments.
Oh, getting those bags opened.
Okay. I have no idea what I was looking at. Anarchist Bible Study commented on our book haul and guests stream where we had people on for the first time and ran out of Lego time.
Oh. Yeah, he always leaves like long comments.
Like, yeah, they're as he's watching. One of the things he says is just make Free Narnian an official co-host and get it over with. Kind of like we need to just make Patrick our official producer instead of an unofficial one. He says, Free Narnian, non-denom Calvinist is just Reformed Baptist. Open arms. Join us, brother.
Well, Free Narnian isn't a Calvinist.
That's right.
Right. He's not a rabid anti-Calvinist.
Right.
So he might be just a regular Baptist.
David should be more self-promotional. His books are worth promoting.
Yeah.
I do it every chance I get. Oh, you like sci-fi? You should read Uriel's Revenge.
I'm gonna do more self-promo once I have something new coming out. So if I actually can prioritize writing and if I get to a point where I have new books coming out next year, I'm gonna do a bunch of things. So that's probably when I have a new book coming out is probably when I will do physical copies of my existing books, and I'm going to have a lot of stuff at that point. And then at that point, I will do more self-promo. I just don't really feel like doing it right now. I feel like kind of a hypocrite promoting books when I'm not really actively writing or actively working towards some concrete goal. So I just don't feel like doing it. And one of the great things about being a hobbyist writer, as opposed to being really far up your own butt about making money or having writing be a business, is that you can just do whatever you want. If you don't feel like promoting, you don't have to. If you do feel like promoting, then you can. When I first wrote my book and books and was trying to promote them, it was something book promotion is something I was really interested in because I thought maybe I could get it to work. And I put a lot of time and effort and research into it, and it was something that I was really interested in for a while. And now I have other hobbies and interests, so it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I just I hope that people get the idea, and I guess we have detractors that don't believe us in this, but the purpose of this is not to build a platform so we can sell stuff. Like, the main purpose of this is to just find friends, hang out, promote other indie authors
Yep.
as well. There's
I'm really serious about making something that I wanted as a reader.
yeah,
Very similar to how a lot of indie authors are like, I am writing something that I wanted
yeah,
as a reader. I'm building
yeah,
basically a database of everything I liked.
yeah. And there's nothing wrong with self-promotion. That's
Absolutely
not
not,
the
yeah.
point.
It's just not our central goal.
Yeah, and that might change. That might change in the future. Maybe we can,
Yeah,
via Goodwill, we can build a big platform and then pull a switcheroo on everybody and start selling stuff. But
yeah.
just have other goals right now. And actually, another, probably something that we will be promoting is our Christmas book.
Yes,
So
yes.
that is something that I will be working a lot on closer to the end of this year, and I don't feel like promoting.
Yeah. Hi, Timo. Thanks for joining.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of responses to our editing video.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Just really some nice comments.
And I thought there would be more negative comments about that,
I
but
thought so too.
But they mostly seemed positive.
Yeah.
So,
Germanicus Caesar 117 says, great discussion. You guys brought up what I've been thinking about, the whole editing thing. You don't have that kind of money to pay editors. I heard somebody say, you spend money to make money, all well and good, but I can't see myself spending what is basically my savings on something I have no reason to believe will sell like hotcakes.
Yep.
And that's not me having no confidence in my work. I'm just being realistic about the state of the industry.
Yeah. And I think that's like a really good attitude. I mean, you really don't have a reason to believe that your book is going to sell a lot. I honestly think you could do everything right, and a lot of it's up to chance. Now, if you don't do everything right, that really reduces your chances of something working. But it's a necessary condition. Doing everything right is a necessary condition, but not a sufficient condition.
Yeah. We talked a little bit more about the money side of things, and it says it also helps that I only write what I want to read. So the fact that I published my novel is an accomplishment in and of itself. The day I stop writing what I want to read is the day I stop writing.
Yeah, especially if you're a hobbyist. If your goal in writing is writing what you want to write, then if you're not doing that anymore, then I think. Let's take a look at the faces.
This must be Frodo.
Yep.
Because this, sort of lopsided.
Well, this isn't Frodo.
Who is it? Oh, it's Merry.
Yep.
And this is Pippin. Okay, Pippin has two faces. This one.
I like the big wide
big
open.
sort of lopsided. Yeah. Oops, I put his head on. I forgot about the cape.
Oh yeah, me too. We're kind of out of it tonight, guys. Sorry. I think we'll warm up as we get going here.
So I had it on my phone previously, and I've used it before. I have this app. It's a focus app to help you set your phone aside and just focus on what you're doing. And I used it a lot today, and it kept me from being on Twitter all day, but I felt distracted anyway because of the conversations that were going on there.
And I got caught up in it. I've been able to stay away from a lot of that stuff on Twitter pretty well lately, but I saw Katie commenting on stuff, and then I started just looking around to see who was, on what side of the discussion, and no surprises. The usual characters were out there. I was a little disappointed to see the ripoff for Sky being so anti-Iron Age, because I think his stuff is actually kind of funny, like his puppet stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. At the same time, somebody who puts that much effort into just basically being a detractor is kind of suspect, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be doing something a lot more positive.
Oh, did I do the cape wrong?
You just creased it more than it
sorry.
had to be. You see that?
I'm sorry.
I don't think you did anything wrong. It just ended up, if you
Oh, okay.
you have to just,
it's just suboptimal.
you just have to be careful to bend it around the hole so
see.
it doesn't crease. They've done different styles of capes over the years, and they more recently sometimes started using cape that is more cloth-like, but this is the same kind of papery cloth that they've used a lot.
Okay. Michael Caine said, this is still on the developmental editing conversation, I'm going to have to agree with a lot of this. I'm not sold on the idea of a developmental editor looking at a near complete manuscript because, one, if the problems are that big.
Just 1 second. Test. Okay, yeah, our audio's working.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't seeing any green.
One, if the problems are that big that need massive rewrites, that would have been better caught at an outline level. And two, the sort of problems a developmental editor can fix on a near complete manuscript are not sold on the prices being charged. I certainly, maybe he means wouldn't pay that. So he was kind of saying what we were saying, that developmental editing might be more useful earlier in the process.
Yeah, and I guess that's one interesting thing that came out of this is TJ said that he personally sells developmental editing on outlines.
Nice. Oh yeah, here it is. That? Yep.
So
TJ says he's at Multiverse Books on YouTube here. It's good to get as much locked in as early as possible, in my opinion. I hate large-scale rewriting. I actually do sell developmental editing on outlines. It's my most popular gig.
Yeah.
A lot of new writers seriously lack confidence in their vision, and most just need some tuning up to be workable.
Yeah. That seems like a very valuable service.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have more experience, just getting some eyes on it at that stage is probably a pretty useful thing. All right. Now, we don't have a ton of room here. Maybe could you bring the thing back up for just a second?
Yeah, sorry.
And we can calibrate, because I just want to back this up to give us a little bit more room.
Well, this is where we're sitting right now. We got most of the floor in on this side, and now we're going to be working on the actual platform for the council. I was thinking when we were building these frames, but I didn't get a chance to say anything because we were deep in very, very interesting conversations. So my dad has been doing a renovation since before David and I were dating. And part of that has it's once again been sidetracked basically by another home project.
Here, let's get started.
Yes, sir.
You can keep telling your story.
Okay.
I just want to get started.
So my parents' house used to be a small cabin, like an actual cabin from back in the day where it was like 2 bedrooms.
But this was long before they bought
Long before
it,
they
like
moved in.
50 years ago or something.
Yep. And then they added on a much larger section. And these 2 pieces have separate basements with a dirt crawl space in between. And so my dad has been this summer working on digging out the crawl space so that they can reseal everything and get it more heat efficient and stuff. And when I went to visit them, he said, "Do you notice anything?" And he sort of bounces on the kitchen floor. And I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." And he's like, "It's not squeaking." He added some support beams across the floor, and all of a sudden now the wood floor doesn't squeak.
These beams made you think of that?
Yep.
See, should be another little plate here. You spot it?
I'm looking. Is it here?
Oh,
Nope.
No, there it is. Okay. I'll pass you parts over.
Okay. I'm gonna move the book.
Oops.
What have you done?
Where did that go? Like that?
I think the other foot. But
Okay.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Here, I can't see it.
Okay. Okay. Is there another arch? Oh, you already gave it to me, but I couldn't see it.
Anna's here. Hello, Anne. It's kind of a slow night tonight for some reason.
Yeah.
It's funny. We started at our usual time, too. That's okay.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Okay.
You can.
I can do this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and we're building four of those.
Oh.
Here. How about let's try to scoot these parts in.
Okay.
And I think we can probably just keep this to the side while we do this, right?
Yeah.
So,
There.
okay. There we go. So you do 2 and I'll do 2?
Sounds good.
So what are we building here? It looks like little columns of some kind.
Yeah. I'm missing.
Now those are just multiplied out for the 4.
Yes, I know.
Okay. I think you. Oh, you're getting it.
I'm getting ahead.
Okay. I see.
It's fine. I just didn't want to be reaching across you all the time if I could see the piece that I needed. Hi to Cornboy Animations.
Oh yeah.
What's happening? Well, we're building Legos.
Yep. And Sam Goyer theorizes that people are looking for spooky stuff to watch.
That's true.
That's probably true. We should have probably done a Halloween stream.
I did it last week. That was my Halloween stream, I guess.
You blew it ahead of time.
Well, I didn't. I wanted to give people time to actually buy them
Oh no.
books and read them.
We can't. I mean, it really just has to be about YouTube content, not about actually buying and reading books. We got to optimize for that sweet super chat money or whatever. Oh, that's what all these are. They're just the sides.
They're just sides.
There's a lot of snot building in this.
We're building 4 of these. Cornboy Animation says he animates with Legos.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good point, Sam. Gotta get those clicks, Sam. Yeah, I should have thought. How can this be all about me and only me?
Wow.
It's totally fine that people design stuff around content.
Well, and especially if you've got a bigger YouTube channel and you can actually make money from super chats or whatever. Right, I don't begrudge people that at all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is what I wanted to do with my evening, and so the fact that I'm here doing this with you is making me happy.
And we got a nice early start on the Lego building too, so
yeah,
we can do a couple of bags and then call it good.
Yeah.
I want to work on my project some tonight before I go to sleep. So Apple had a event today and they announced the M3 MacBooks.
Oh.
So mine is not going to be top of the line anymore.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So Cornboy, we are building the Lego Rivendell set.
Yes.
We are about 2/3 of the way through at this point, maybe?
Yeah. So
we're on this. That's the last manual. Right?
Yeah. Last manual, bag 28
out of like
49.
49. Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, yeah, depending on how much is in each bag, maybe.
Right.
The amount in each bag varies a lot. So. Oh, nice. Sam Goyer says that he considers this a Halloween style program because the outdated wood paneling wall always gives him the creeps. I think it's cozy myself.
I think so too. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so these go here.
Oh. Can I put
Absolutely, yeah. You want to put that one there? I think
sure.
That would be easiest for you to reach.
Yeah. See you later, Cornboy.
Thanks for stopping in.
It's always fun to meet somebody new.
I think I did the last page. So you want to do this side?
Sure.
We're working around a very large piece today.
I don't know. Maybe we can move this a little bit. I don't know. I think I just made a mistake in how I sorted out the pieces. I wasn't thinking. We're still figuring out just logistically how this works. We have the camera on this little cart, and it's not the best. What we really should do is have like a vertical like thing.
Sure.
And I've seen some companies make those where they're like on a beam that's easy to aim down.
Okay. Yeah, that would be good.
Another thing you could do is you could point it in from the opposite direction and flip it.
Yeah.
But I think it's
hard for me to visualize when I'm trying to show the camera something.
Yeah. Yeah, I experimented with that once. I did a stream, I think, where I showed a couple of pages from a game manual or something, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we're building some little stuff here on top of these pillars. If you want to
Just trying to put these guys straight.
So we're obviously setting up something here that's a structure that's gonna go on top of these.
It's fun that we got to build it. You know, these columns as opposed to having them be solid pieces.
Yeah. One of the old Lego Star Wars sets or not Lego Star Wars, Lord of the Rings sets I have is Mines of Moria, and that has a few columns, but they're not as intricately built. I mean, they're bigger for one thing, but they're just fewer pieces, which, you know, makes sense being a play set and whatnot. But
yeah,
it's fun when there are more details. Okay, I think that's it. These pages are going fast because it's like one page of building something and then another page of sticking it onto this giant thing.
Because this is so big, it's hard to show where it goes without having the entire thing take up one of the pages.
And I'll keep trying to pass you
Thank you.
pieces over.
I need 4 of the little ones.
4 of the
one by ones.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll try and build underneath the camera stick. Camera so you guys can see what I'm doing.
Yeah, okay, so this is probably going to be an arch that goes across this part. It's always satisfying when you have these pieces that are you know, they swivel or whatever because they're just attached with one stud, and then you start building stuff on top of them that locks it in place. It's really satisfying. I think that's going to happen here. Yeah, we're just building out kind of a arch structure. Yeah, the interesting thing about the new M3 Max is that they, I think they must have changed up the bus width or something, because the RAM is in like multiples of 3 now instead of multiples of 2.
Oh.
So the equivalent to mine is a 32 gig. The equivalent to mine is a 48 gig.
Oh.
Now. So
okay.
I think the M3 they made instead of doubling the bus, they made it 50% bigger.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. Usually you don't see that, but I think they wanted to make some kind of improvement. And something that I noticed is that they were giving all their performance metrics against the Intel Max and the M1 Max. So I'm guessing they're actually not terribly much faster than M2, which makes me happy. But it's fun to see technology just march on. Building some nice arches all the way across here now. And
I was just looking over Anarchist Bible Studies comment on Chill Stream 7.
Mm-hmm.
Long, lots of stuff from that we talked about, you know. But at the end, he said, "I enjoy these streams because they make me feel like we're all just hanging out. Except my dialogue to you is like 3 days delayed."
It would be fun if he could come on.
Yeah.
Live. You know, you should put him in the green room.
Yeah, I will.
I know he's a busy guy, but who knows? Maybe we do it. And I mean, I guess he isn't able to join live a lot, but because he leaves his comments late. But
Maybe someday he will.
I think you still have to add me to their Discord.
Oh yeah. Iowa Ancap can't be messaged. Oh, he's on.
That's the old. You got to get the Iowa Ancap reborn.
Reborn. Oops.
This is really interesting. This little offset stud construction ends up raising this piece up.
Oh.
And there's like a little ledge here with this side building. So
oh, that's cool.
it's funny how it's gonna sit. It ends up the side ends up sitting flush with the side stuff, and the normal vertical buildings ends up sitting flush with that.
I thought I would be able to find him there fast. Just yeah.
Okay, I think that's done.
I know what I should do. He's not coming up when I search.
Did he get banned again?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, just Iowa Ancap reborn.
Why can't I find him?
I don't know.
I'll just go to the super secret Discord and go to the social media bangers. There we go.
I'm going to just keep building here. We're going to have to do a sticker here, unfortunately.
Okay, let's see. There he is. Okay. There.
All right, so we've got to put this forge sticker onto this piece. Did I try it?
If you would like, otherwise I'm happy to do it.
I think I can do it. This one actually might not be as hard
hard.
as some of the smaller ones. Actually, yeah. And I don't think there isn't really a side. What side do you think I should put this on? There's like one side with bigger indentations.
I don't think it matters.
I'll do it on the bigger side.
Oh, he also commented, I'm getting really, this is a month ago, when I did my Tolkien book haul. He said, this was after we'd taken a bit of a break for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So these streams were missed. I was also sad that the sickness you endured also meant you couldn't join your husband on Preambling 59.
Oh yeah, that was a fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I think in the brief window when I was feeling better and
And I still
and then
wasn't.
you were starting to get it. Michael Caine is here.
Hey. Thanks for coming.
I'm having trouble. Maybe I might actually go up from the bottom.
Okay. I'm happy to.
Actually, here, maybe we'll try this. Maybe we'll go on from the side like this.
Okay.
You think? I feel like I was getting it lined up pretty well, but I don't know. No. I think this is going to be one of the hardest stickers to get on with this curved top. Maybe we've just got to just kind of stick it on and be done with it. I've curled it now. Let me see if I can uncurl it.
I was peeking ahead and I saw that sticker and I was like, oh good, that will be on my page.
Oh, okay.
Thought I would save you this grief.
Okay. That looks pretty good, right?
Yes.
And then it's like then it's off at the bottom. It's really hard.
Yeah. I did several of these for a couple of the Harry Potter sets.
Oh, okay. Maybe you've got more experience with it then.
I'm happy to give it a shot.
All right.
And can't promise.
I feel like the trick is you might have to like try to line up both sides of the top at the same time, because otherwise it's off. Oh, nice. Yeah, Michael, I saw that. He's talking about the new modular Natural History Museum.
Oh yeah. Fun.
Yeah. Part of me kind of wishes I started collecting those modular buildings a while back, but there's so many of them now. I'd really want to have an actual permanent city layout somewhere if I was collecting those, and just don't know if I have the space for it. Well, you having trouble?
I did. I estimated too far over, so it's
see?
just a little. There's more space on this side than this
You
side.
You can peel it up yet, babe.
I don't want to.
Here.
It'll crease.
No, it won't. It won't crease. It'll be okay.
Oh, he started at the bookstore. I liked the bookstore.
Yeah, that was a cool one.
But again, it was like, what am I going to do with this? It doesn't go with any of my other ones.
Yeah. That's the problem with all that stuff.
I have to draw the line somewhere.
Fortunately, Lego has kind of made it easy to stop collecting some of the stuff that I used to collect. The newest Lego Star Wars stuff has been a real disappointment, in my opinion.
I can do it. I can do it.
Okay.
Put me in, coach.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
It just was. I estimated too much space.
Okay. Yeah, the newest Lego Star Wars stuff has kind of been a disappointment, so I haven't been too interested in that. And a lot of the stuff that is really cool is also really big. So it's almost not even a matter of the money, because I know I would enjoy it, and I know I would enjoy building it, and I think it's worth the money, but it's just the space that it would take up.
I'm satisfied.
Okay. Something that I was going to say is we should consider after this week. Oh, so you got a lot more space at the top.
It's not a ton more. It's just
no,
a little.
It's fine.
And the corners here are good.
It's fine. Yeah, no, it's lined up really well. I just always like to get more space at the bottom than at the top.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's
if
fine.
You had told me that, I would have.
It's just a fact of how you're supposed to align things, babe. You know,
Well,
you always, like, if you're like a mat in a picture frame, should always have more at the bottom.
all right.
It's okay.
I'm sorry I failed you.
No, it's fine. It looks good when you're looking down on it in the frame.
Yep. I think I did a good
Yeah,
job.
no, you did. You did a fine job.
See? To find
Stickers are just the worst part of any
out.
any Lego set.
It didn't stop him from getting the bookstore. Anne and I, before the camera started rolling, we talked about the romance in Razorfist's book that I had argued with Royce about.
Oh, what I mean, I didn't listen to that stream, so what was the
Well, it
argument?
wasn't in the stream we were just talking about. She agreed with me that there should have that the romance was thin.
Yeah. Many such cases. It's almost like the pulp people just want to write about people getting punched.
Yeah.
And was excited to find a store where you could buy used Lego sets.
Oh yeah.
I've bought a few used Lego sets from eBay. Most of my original Lord of the Rings wave sets I got used from a guy. And it was like an adult collector who had them on display.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really good deal for all of them. And I think I ended up taking most of them apart and rebuilding them. So,
Yeah.
you know, you can still experience it. I think your Ninjago lighthouse we got used.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that was from eBay used.
Yeah, they start to get pricey sometimes. Not always, but
Yeah, Lego is one of those things that you don't really want to wait to buy because they're almost always get significantly more expensive once they're out of print. Especially for new in the box.
Yeah.
Once the set is out of print, you know, even if it's not selling like hotcakes, it usually is just going to cost a lot to get it to get it in any form. And you're probably going to end up with it used unless you're really willing to pay an arm and a leg for it. A lot of other stuff is not like that. I've been getting into collecting other toys lately, and a lot of other stuff you know, does not get significantly more expensive to get after it's no longer available in retail, but Lego does. Certain sets in particular too, like the interesting ones.
Like the good ones.
Yeah. If it's a set that is one of the only sets that has a particular minifigure, typically they get really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense because I think it's so easy to make knockoff minifigures. Like I would never buy a minifigure just loose.
Yeah.
Because they're so easy to fake. So if you wanted to be sure that you were getting a genuine minifigure of a certain minifigure that was rare, you kind of have to buy a sealed set.
I suppose.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Michael Caine's got a Thrawn. That is a Lego minifigure that I would really like to get. I have a Black Series Thrawn, and I have the old Power of the Force Thrawn action figure, but I do not have a Lego Thrawn.
Okay.
Here's my
More.
Here's my Power of the Force Thrawn on the card. This is it's not called Power of the Force, it's called Expanded Universe. They have this Expanded Universe line, but it's basically Power of the Force. And this is one of the most expensive figures in that line. I actually found him at a local comic shop for a pretty good deal, so I got it. This line is really fun to collect because nothing is worth a whole lot of money. So you can get a cool figure like Thrawn on the card for 20 or 30 bucks.
Oh yeah, they're gonna cover the top of this right up, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
No, maybe not. Nope. Guess not. Oh well, it looks fine. Okay. Do you want to do this page?
Yeah.
They're not. It's the archway next to it. I got excited for a second.
What were you?
I thought they were gonna do this here, but it's this part here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that. So Anne's talking about the Daily Bugle set. So I'm not a huge fan of most of the Lego superhero stuff, especially the Marvel stuff. I have a few Lego Batman sets that are like just vehicles like Batmobiles, and I like those a lot. But that Daily Bugle, that was kind of honestly a set that I thought a little bit about getting because it's just a neat build aside from being a Marvel thing, because it's actually nice little skyscraper that has a lot of interesting rooms inside and a lot of details, and then it comes with every Spider-Man related character and villain and everything that there is, so it would be kind of an instant collection sort of set.
Cool.
But then also there's the where do you put it when you have it question. You didn't do.
What didn't I do?
You didn't do.
Oh.
These pieces.
Oops.
So that goes there. And then a lot of people were excited about that Daily Bugle set though, just because it was one of the first skyscrapers that Lego has made.
Was that it?
So it's a nice, like if you have a Lego City layout, it's a nice skyscraper set just to have a little skyscraper in your city.
Yeah, I think it does connect to the modulars. Michael King was asking.
I'm not sure about the Daily Bugle.
Okay.
Because it's open on the back.
Oh. Maybe not then.
Yeah, I never watched to see if that Daily Bugle set ever came down in price.
Did you want to do this side, or are you busy?
You can go for it.
Okay.
It is, let's see here. It's on sale.
Ooh.
For $300 at Walmart right now.
Oh.
Usually was $350.
Okay.
That's a pretty good price for that set.
That's certainly not bad. That's to be expected with all of those.
Yeah,
minifigs
for a licensed set and all the pieces, and it's going to be around until 2024, I guess.
Okay, so it's not retired yet.
No, it's not retired. Yeah, it was originally $350. Looks like you can get it for $300 some different places. Yeah, man, that was a cool set. $25 minifigures.
Wow.
Doc Ock, Spider-Man, Venom, Miles Morales, Spider-Ham, Green Goblin, Peter Parker, Spider-Gwen, Mysterio, Sandman, Robbie Robertson, and many more. It's got a lot of window pieces too, which is kind of cool. You know, it would be a good set to get even if you just wanted to make it into a generic skyscraper. And it's got a fire escape down one side. That's a really cool set.
Doug Wise says he's late but hi.
Yeah.
All right, would you like it back? Or
Oh, you can keep going.
okay. They keep turning it on me. I feel confident in the bottom of it, but not in all of these pieces in here.
No, this is an accident waiting to happen. So it looks like you're mainly just stacking
Looks like I'm putting some
layers on the top. That's
on
always
here.
satisfying.
Yeah, cover up those.
Link all that stuff together. Yeah, a lot of the Marvel stuff I just haven't been very impressed with. Some of the little
Sure.
building sets have been kind of cool, but I don't collect buildings so much. I collect vehicles.
Yeah.
And
from Marvel.
They're like they have nice little interiors, but I feel like those don't make good display pieces, you know.
Yeah.
You want Katie has a nice collection of like actual standalone buildings. They've done a couple recently they did one for the Spider-Man movie that was like the Statue of Liberty, like top of the Statue of Liberty and some stuff like that. It's been kind of good, but it's always really expensive too.
Yeah,
just,
like the superhero stuff is always much more expensive than any of the other lines.
The licensing always really takes it over the top, and I'm just not the hugest fan of most of it. For traditional superhero stuff, I like Spider-Man and I like Batman. And Batman has vehicles. So that's what I end up buying. Corn Boy's back.
Hey. Welcome back.
Yeah, so Anne's mentioning that her mom likes the Harry Potter Legos and she's been eyeing Grimmauld Place.
Oh, that one looks great.
That is the one that I kind of wanted to buy from that line. I like how it folds. Those, again, they're kind of cursed by the licensing costs. Yeah. They're just really expensive for what you get.
I've done all of the modular Hogwarts stuff, and I got the house.
The
Privet Drive.
Yeah.
House.
And you got Hogsmeade.
And Hogsmeade, yeah. I'm trying to think if there was something else that I got that was tangentially related, but I'm pretty sure it was the house that I was thinking of.
Yep.
And that was fun. Our daughter played with it prior to watching or reading that was the second one. So she had a little bit of a context spatially about things that were going to happen. Although when the cake dropped on the lady's head, she cried. She cried.
Yeah, that new Privet Drive set is really nice. It's also one that's really overpriced, but I feel like when you get it on sale, and I think we got it on sale for quite cheap, it ends up being really nice set. It's the problem with a lot of the licensed Lego sets. It's like they come out and you're like, you just think to yourself, this isn't the real price. The real price is about 15% less.
Yeah.
And if I just wait, I'm gonna be able to get it for that, which is kind of unfortunate. Yeah, so Corn Boy, while you were gone, we ended up building out most of this back wall. we were building some pillars and little rock stuff, and then we ended up building out this back wall with all these arches.
This banner is giving me grief.
You want me to
No,
help
I
with that?
just about got it. I can just get it to lay straight.
Those big stickers are tricky.
It's not straight, is it?
I can look at it. No, I would say that's pretty straight. I mean, it's a little bit off, but not too much. Should I flatten it?
Yep. Don't overthink it.
Yeah. The thing is, these stickers are sometimes cut a little bit crooked too, so you can't always judge the straightness of the print by the edges.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. This time I erred on the side of having more space on the bottom.
Which is good.
Because the pattern sort of is top heavy, and so I figured it was fine.
Yeah, Corn Boy. That's like the only thing that I think is worse about modern Lego is they tend to use a lot of stickers.
Yeah, I actively look for sets without.
Yeah, and that's actually one thing that's really cool about a lot of the adult sets is that they tend to do prints more. Some of them are just terrible with stickers.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
There you go. This is the end of this bag.
Cool. Some of them are just terrible with stickers to the point where I think they're kind of not even attractive sets anymore.
Yeah.
They made that cool Stranger Things Buyer's House set, but that just had tons of stickers. Pretty much every wall in the interior just had a sticker on it. It wasn't nice.
Yeah. Put a sticker on. Does Lego have Christmas lights? Throw a sticker up there.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of the fun out of it, because I think part of the joy of Lego is how you kind of approximate all the little stuff with actual Lego pieces.
Yeah.
So when you're just making, actual objects and clutter and stuff inside the house with stickers, it's just kind of not fun.
Yeah.
Banners, paintings, maps, that is totally cool in my opinion to have stickers, but like books on bookshelves, it's like,
yeah,
you can actually make those with Lego pieces. So
the Harry Potter Room of Requirement set was frustrating to me because they did some building and some stickers. Like they had some pixies, actual little molded pixies, and then a sticker of one to put on the wall. I was like,
did you actually put those on?
I did. I followed the thing.
Oh, nice. Look at this. So this is another example of these integer angles coming out just right. So let's see here. So this is gonna hook up. Oh, did
I miss something?
Yep. Or no, I guess
you.
That was me. Okay.
Wasn't me this time. Look at that. It's so satisfying. Just follow what's on the page and then everything hooks up. In 3 dimensions.
Yep.
Like that's it.
Yep.
Right? Like this being in line with the rest of this. It's very, very satisfying.
All right, next bag.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably just do this bag and then we'll call it good after that. So it looks like this is going to be probably floor. Yeah. Floors, little railings, stuff like that.
Fine. Get a nice mix with this set. I've been very pleased. So they must be saving the Council of Elrond for the very end of this part.
It's the very end of the build.
Yeah.
It looks like.
Okay. Okay. Ooh, stairs. Chunky, blocky stairs. I'll start down here. And then, oops, where am I here? What is going on? That's. Eek. I got overconfident. Okay. So, first. This one. This one here, just in front of the green. This one here, and this one here. There.
Nice. Yeah, it's fun, Michael, to see how many different ways there are to do stairs in Lego. A lot of these kinds of sets do stairs with sideways building, because
Yeah.
you can kind of get a narrower stair.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's fun just to see these big, really chunky ones too.
Oops. Really? Okay.
Oh geez. Cornboy says he's trying to take apart two 2x1 bricks off each other. You need a brick separator for that. Even with a brick separator, that's probably kind of a challenge. What are you looking for?
Well, I'm looking for a three stud across the top by 2. Thank you. Okay, and then this guy. Oh, he broke his 10 minutes ago. Oh no. You have a tan one?
No,
it's got to have studs. There we go. Thank you. And
I feel like a significant fraction of this bag is going to be this railing.
I don't think I've ever used a spyglass as a spyglass.
Yeah.
I think I've only. Oh nope, there's a spyglass in the lighthouse we were talking about, the Ninjago lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that's everything. Back to you, my love.
Patrick's here. Hey, Patrick.
I'm giving Katie's Lego building skill 1 star.
She's probably built about as much Lego as I have at this point, so I don't know what her excuse is.
I think he's, because he goes on to say, this is the level of architecture I would expect from quote unquote Periapsis Press. I think he's referencing,
Oh, yeah.
what's his name?
Trash book. Just give it 5 stars.
Yep.
That guy's kind of an idiot.
Someone messaged me with that.
Okay, we did something wrong here.
What?
Yeah, this piece is not in the right.
Oh, I didn't put that one down. That must have been earlier when we first built this.
Let's see if we can get it out.
And said somebody mentioned you. Oh, nice. Slick. And I got nervous, and then I saw it, and I was like, "What?"
He's just an idiot.
Doug Wise says, "Oh, great! Give all Lego building skills 5 stars, like some hug box."
Yeah. It's really funny how it breaks it breaks people's minds that you would just make a decision to talk about only stuff that you like. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
And congrats, Corn Boy. He got his Legos apart.
Yay! Well done. Perseverance.
And I mean, I think it needs to, because these people just don't get it. It doesn't hurt anything to say, I'm definitely not against criticism, like criticizing things.
Right.
People are welcome to do that. But, I think we have a vision for what we want to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of people doing criticism and just being critical in general. I think being critical is very easy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's easier than doing something positive.
Yeah.
And that's just not what we want to do right now. So other people, if they feel like that's a gap, they can do that.
Yeah. I personally don't feel that it's useful.
Mm-hmm.
Because
your screen is...
My screen is...
Oh, okay, there we go. It's just turned sideways.
Sorry. I think that when someone is looking for a book to read...
I'm just going to do this page and then we can start this next part.
And they hear, well, here's a book not to read.
Mm-hmm.
That's not helpful. If they... And I'm not talking about like negative reviews on Amazon or Goodreads. Those kinds of reviews are useful in the context of, should I buy this book that I am currently looking at right now? But criticism, sort of talking negatively about a book on social media, on YouTube, is simply elevating, at least in my view, something that's not actually worth elevating.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first half dozen times somebody encounters something, they're not even really able to connect the two ideas, right, between the product and the criticism necessarily. Maybe they come away with a general impression that it's not a great book, but maybe it just puts it on their radar, and then the next time they come across it, they're like, oh, I've heard of this, right? I don't know. I think it can be counterproductive, I guess is what I'm saying.
And Michael says, the guy wasn't ever going to engage in good faith.
No.
I think, I'm not saying that this is what Michael's saying, but there's kind of amongst Eric July's followers, he's kind of promoted this idea that there's like bad faith. There's like a difference between good faith and bad faith criticism. And Ethan Van Sciver's kind of gone on the record and said, it's not like there's good criticism or bad criticism. And you can have either that's done in good faith or bad faith.
True.
So I think I'm less interested in making that distinction and just more interested in, saying like, for me, I'm not interested in engaging in, I would say, maybe not criticism, but being critical or talking about stuff that I don't like, right? Because you could engage in criticism about something that you do like,
right?
And there is definitely a lot of stuff that we don't like, right? People request Katie's reviews on books that she will start to read and quit.
Yep.
Or finish reading and decide not to review.
Yep.
And we're perfectly capable of, when I was writing and trying to promote my books, I was reading a lot of stuff, and a lot of it I just didn't finish. And if I wanted to spend my time articulating and talking about why that stuff, from other indie authors isn't good, I could definitely do it. I'm just not interested in doing that. I don't think it's very useful.
Yeah.
I think.
And go ahead. Sorry.
We've said before that the people always talk about there being like a quality problem with indies.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is by default, there's no visibility for stuff. So you have to choose to give good stuff attention to give it visibility. So there's not really any point in talking about things that aren't very visible, that you don't like or you think are not of good quality. There just isn't, because the default is that nobody's going to find them anyway. Nobody's going to read them.
Right. That page is just putting this on. So
we're all of this Iron Age stuff too is like, hobbyist levels of sales. We're not talking about anything that has a huge following or people who are making their living from this stuff, as far as I know. If I understand how Amazon sales rankings work, and I'm correct in my estimates of how much people are selling. So it really is not, I don't know. It's this kind of thinking where people think they have to think of everything as some institution that they have to make or break. And it just doesn't really correspond with what the actual situation is.
And if somebody thinks that criticism is useful and worth spending their time on, then I think that they should do that. But it's not.
There's a satisfying
nice
piece there.
That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm doing what I'm doing intentionally, right?
At the end of the day, it's like we have a limited amount of time and effort and emotional effort to put into things. And
goes that candelabra again.
I think these people sometimes too, they want to make judgments about how other people should spend their time. Just look at how big this is. This is the depth of this, right?
Yeah.
It's huge. People want to make judgments about how other people should spend their time, and
you can say, well, there needs to be more criticism, but if you're not willing to put in the work, right, then it's not
Yeah, you're just basically telling other people what to do.
Right. You yourself, if you are an author, should be putting in the work necessary to improve your own craft, not telling people
Mm-hmm.
you ought to be doing better, right?
Mhm.
Like, okay. And in our developmental editing video and in our in other videos that we've done, like we've talked about things that people can do if they're interested in improving their craft in ways that we're not dragging them or advertising to the world that their writing was not my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of those things that we've talked about is, ooh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Line this one up right here. That's fun. One of those things is reading.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always advocating for people to read, and that the stuff that we talked about in the developmental editing video was stuff that we thought were alternatives to developmental editing that would help. If you didn't want to shell out for that. Doug Wise says, the grind is you are about to hear why you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Parentheses, anything wrong.
I also wonder if some of that, Doug, kind of comes down to people don't understand the idea of it being a hobby, right? So, if it's just something you're kind of doing for fun, you can do that and still try to do a good job of it. It doesn't doing something for, and I think this is, these people, when you start, like I discovered when I started arguing with some people about, doing this as a hobby, they just sort of want to assume that, you're not trying to make something of good quality.
Mm-hmm.
But, you can do something as a hobby, do your best, try to do something of good quality. But
Mm-hmm.
when it's your hobby, you just don't have the amount of time that you would have if it was your profession to put into it.
Sure.
It's just a fact, right? And I think some of that kind of comes from some of the criticism of how people are spending their time. I think kind of comes from people who, again, just really have trouble understanding that concept.
Mm-hmm.
They're so used to doing it as a career, or they're looking in from the outside and don't understand how the internet has made it possible to do this as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And they just sort of assume you need to be treating it seriously, by whatever definition they have. And I like, I think it's good to push back on that
Mm-hmm.
idea as well. But I wonder if that isn't. I always look at these kinds of arguments and I start seeing everything as kind of being interrelated.
Mm.
And it seems to be connected.
Oh, fun.
The instruction manual points out that these stairs have a handrail, so a stud. Studs on the stairs themselves aren't necessary. Okay.
Okay.
So you're gonna build the landing at the top.
Fun.
Yeah. Doug Wise says, crazy when people refuse to believe people with careers might just want to write a book for fun. Tolkien was just grinding out pages to pay the bills. Lewis was an idiot for not focusing on his craft. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think amongst other arguments that you could deploy against these people is the fact that a lot of really famous authors were kind of doing their work as a labor of love, right? Maybe it wasn't just as a hobby, right? They were getting paid for it, but it wasn't their primary source of income. It wasn't they had other jobs, right? They had other income streams.
Yeah.
I mean, and I mean, how many authors write a book maybe wanting it to be a career, but you don't know that it's going to take off and turn into something while you're writing it. I mean,
I have no idea why I'm doing this. I just built it with a little...
That's where the railing is going to go.
Oh, is it going to rest against that?
Mm-hmm. It's going to go into that hole, I think.
Come on, settle in. Nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Fun?
Yep.
Okay, I see.
So here comes the railing.
Patrick points out that not everyone needs to be Stephen King or whatever Harlequin murder mystery spice writer is out there.
Yeah. There's all kinds of things wrong with that attitude.
Yeah.
And part of it's a refusal to acknowledge that it's possible to write and get your book in front of an audience without being professional, thanks to things like Amazon. My theory is part of the reason that people push back against that is they actually, it's like these sort of self-replicating ideas. They see indie authors as a threat. They're dumping this low quality stuff in there, so that's turning people off from reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. When again, I think we've, you can make the case that isn't a problem. It's, yes, the marketplace is flooded with crap, but there are things in place that let the good stuff get visibility.
Yeah.
It's not like the good stuff is getting drowned out by the bad stuff.
Yeah. It was an interesting conversation with pretty much everybody I interacted with, because everybody wanted to throw shade, but nobody had specifics. Ripoff verse was wanting to say that all of Iron Age was bad because Eric July's stuff is bad, and that Iron Age doesn't even exist, but wouldn't interact with any of my my explanations for what it is. And then other people who jumped on the thread coming from his side were very similar. Someone asked me if I thought Razor Fist's book was quality, and it's just like reiterating, right, that like everything that I review, I enjoyed, and if you didn't, that's fine. Like, we can have different opinions about books, and if you want to talk specifics, I'd be happy to. It's one of my favorite things to do is talk about books and argue about books. I don't mind at all, but I didn't get any responses to that.
Yeah, because it takes effort.
Right. It's like clearly somebody else who has clearly read that book and is hoping to was wanting to dunk on me. At least that's how that's the likely interpretation from the context, to say that I'm a sucker, right, for being taken in by the Iron Age grifters or whatever. It's like, well, I'm happy to talk about it. I know why I reviewed it. Right? I really, really know why. I laid it out. And I didn't like everything about it. When we had the book discussion, I talked about it, right? And it was fun. I enjoyed talking about that. So, bring it on if you guys disagree with me. I'm happy.
Michael Caine has an interesting comment. He says, to be fair, writing has rarely been economically lucrative for anyone, anywhere. That's true. And that's a great argument against the kind of like boomer nonsense that, like if you work hard at something, you'll make money. I think that's kind of another thing that's wrong with these people is they sort of, you're like, I'm an indie author, I wrote this book, and they're like, well, it only has 10 reviews on Amazon, you must suck.
Yeah.
If you tried really hard, it must only have X number of reviews and X number of readers because you suck. If you tried harder, if you worked harder, if you got better, then more people would read it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Again, it's like being good is maybe a necessary condition for success as an author, not a sufficient condition. You don't understand how book marketing works. You don't understand the idea of doing something as a hobby. It's a very outdated idea, I think. Okay, now these pieces going here.
Anne says, I would say that I did like The Long Moonlight. I wish more people would read it so we could parody the romance together. And that's the thing with these guys, there's no room for that, right? There's no room for there to be problems in a book.
Yeah.
And for it to be a good book. It's and like Erwin the author was picking apart, or was it Kentucky Objectivist?
Oh, Kentucky Objectivist was picking apart TJ Marquis' prose, but it was his criticisms were frankly idiotic. I don't like he was trying to be funny, but not, and he was just saying things that didn't make any sense.
But it's like
this must go somewhere.
I have been talking.
Oh, here we go.
Does it go under one of these?
No, that was that. It's fine. You can keep talking. I'll look for it.
It's and the belief that there's only one way to say something, and if you say it where whoops
there's a little hole in the stairway there.
And if you don't say it if every sentence in your book isn't optimized in exactly the way that this particular critic thinks it ought to be, then it's not good enough and doesn't and
and I mean you're allowed to have those opinions.
Absolutely.
I feel like I read books and I think once you write something, it's something that gets kind of wrecked for you as you start thinking about prose on sort of a low level, so you think about that stuff. But you know, at the same time, it's like it's very subjective,
Yeah.
you know.
Michael Caine says, hard work is good advice, generally speaking, but there are dozens of careers, statistically most of them, in which it is statistically more likely to be effective.
Yeah.
Anne points out, like, the idea doesn't make sense in other contexts, like musician. If you, like, it's like saying you're only a successful musician if you're a famous singer. It means that you can't make a living if you just play local venues, which you can, and that you can't just play guitar and enjoy it with your family.
Cornboy is back and wonders what we're talking about. So I don't know, Cornboy, I don't know how you found us, but we're talking about criticism of indie books. So we are part of a community on Twitter that does a lot of talking about self-published books, and there's always discussions where people criticize indie books for being of low quality or have these other criticisms of it. We're just kind of talking about the merits of that discussion, because our point of view is that we like to just promote stuff that we like, and we don't like to spend a lot of time talking about stuff that we don't like.
Yeah, I have a website, which is periapsispress.com, and so the other thing that I do on this channel is talk about indie books and stuff, and the website is reviews, and I only do positive, and by which I mean I only review stuff I like. So, well, we get pushback for some reason.
I mean, I think we understand why at this point. There's a lot of people who really feel the need to be critical, and also I think people sort of feel the need to control what other people do.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would say that is almost a more universal thing than our opinions about sort of letting people do what they want, promoting what you like, things like that. So I think a lot of what we do on Twitter and on our streams is to try to find people who kind of share our view about being positive. And that's not, again, like, not to say that we don't think there's a room for criticism or whatever. It's just, we, like, if the goal is promoting and getting eyes on the right good indie stuff, there's so many people who are just basically only being critical. That just being positive is kind of a unique thing. Yeah. And we think more people should do that, so we're trying to model that. Yeah. We see that as being a way towards getting eyes on the right stuff.
I think it doesn't really matter in the long run. These kind of conversations with these guys who disagree aren't going to change their minds. But I reached a lot of people who did agree, right?
Yeah, that's why it's worth having the conversations.
People who saw that all these guys who are criticizing have nothing substantial. They're just bringing negativity. But this person actually has read stuff and can articulate what she thinks, right? I think that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think these people are, like, one of the sort of scandals sort of surrounding Eric July is that a lot of people bought his books and just didn't read them.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be that.
Right.
That's one of the reasons, honestly, that I don't personally buy a lot of indie books myself, is I don't have the time to read a lot of them. And I don't like buy them and show them myself, because I don't honestly read a lot of them. And I want to be honest about that, right? I don't want to be like promoting things that I haven't read, or like showing things off that I haven't read, because I think it's very fair for people to say, well, you don't even read it. You don't even read the stuff.
Right.
But Katie does.
Right.
Right. She does actually read what she reviews.
Mm-hmm.
She does actually put time into creating good, very detailed, positive, critical discussions of these books.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and that's something that probably trips a lot of people up when they see it.
Well, and one of the things that I do that people don't realize, because it all happens behind the scenes, right, is I don't review stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't like something, then I don't review it, and that means I don't have content sometimes.
Yeah.
That's why my posting is sporadic. I either
Mm-hmm.
have stuff that I've read and enjoyed and I'm working on a review,
Mm-hmm.
or I've hit several bad ones in a row, and then I'm
and we
just keep reading. Right?
And there's definitely stuff that we don't like.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was probably, there was a span of a couple of years where I was pretty aggressively on Twitter to promote my books, and I would try reading a lot of other authors, and a lot of what I bought and read, I started reading and I liked, but I just didn't like enough to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wanted to go on a live stream or write about it and write about why I noped out of it, I could do that.
Right.
And I could probably do that in a pretty mean way. And I
Mm-hmm.
could do that in a pretty aggressive way if I wanted to, but that's just not what we want to do. And we talk a lot about stuff that you read and you don't like, and you're very opinionated about, and usually oftentimes have pretty strong opinions about the stuff that you read and don't like and don't want to review.
Yep.
So it's not like we don't have strong opinions about it. It's just that's not what we want to do.
I mean, sometimes I don't have a strong opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I talked about this on the book discussion stream for the latest book that we read, the Fear of Montcroy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was fine, right?
Yep.
But I didn't think it had enough about it that I liked that I could write a full-length review, which is important to me.
Mm-hmm. There's other stuff that you read where you're like, oh man, I really don't like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
most stuff. I mean, it's like anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that's just not ready.
Yep.
Or so that, and like there's like a basic quality level, and then there's like, so if I can't, if there's enough of a like technical problems that I can't, that I'm just constantly distracted from the story, obviously I'm not going to review that one, which is unfortunate because I have read ones that lack that polish that would be great, but I just can't.
Yep. Well, and there's other stuff,
but there's other stuff. There's
other stuff that you like that is good technically, but you just don't like the themes of it or whatever.
Right.
And I think my opinion about that stuff, and I think you kind of feel the same way, is it's like you could publish a critical review of that, but it just doesn't accomplish anything,
Right.
Like the author is not going to rewrite the book because you don't like the themes. You might end up discouraging people who might like the themes from reading it, or you might end up discouraging people from reading other of the author's works that you do like.
Right. Or I might think that something is a big deal, right? Like, and I've talked about this on stream before, so I'm not like tearing you right apart, right? But Daniel P. Riley's book wasn't for me, and I talked to him about it, and we actually talked on a stream about it. And one of the themes that I had an issue with, other readers are breezing right through it and not it's not an issue for them. It's either they don't pick up on it, or it is not something that they are concerned about, or they're not reading it the way that I read it, and that's fine. I don't feel the need to shout, hey, don't read this book, right?
Yeah, so what I'm getting is there's all kinds of reasons why we don't think it's necessary to do that. But
Right.
at the end of the day, it's also just, we just want to be positive.
Yeah.
And that's again, I think that's something that we should be allowed to
Absolutely.
do, right? And
Yeah.
if people want to be critical, they can be critical. I think if we want to be positive, we should be allowed to be positive.
Yeah. And people who think that there should be criticism should do it themselves
and do it well.
And do
right?
it well.
Don't, maybe, if you want my opinion about this, I don't think criticizing people's prose at the page or paragraph level is very helpful. I always cringe even when people go after Chuck Wendig. I mean, I think, in my opinion, he's kind of a lol cow and sort of deserves being made fun of for other reasons. But even like people post that TIE fighter paragraph from his Star Wars book, and I personally, I kind of like that paragraph. I think it makes kind of a nice, like, I don't like the narrative voice. The narrative voice is irritating, but I think it paints a nice picture in my mind. And I think you could pull a weird paragraph out of anybody's book.
Yeah.
So I don't think that kind of criticism is helpful. I think the criticism that would be helpful is more like large scale, thematic, structural issue stuff. Pacing, character development, all that stuff. But the problem with that is that it takes work. You have to actually read the book
instead of just a paragraph.
Yeah, you actually have to think about it. You have to write more than a couple tweets worth of criticism, or talk about it on YouTube or whatever. And a lot of these people just aren't willing to do that.
Yeah.
So, I guess you can take that for what it's worth. I think even that, I think, is easier than positive criticism. So I'm gonna be biased a little bit towards Katie's work because I think it's harder to be positive than to be negative. But I think even basically doing the negative version of what Katie does, where you're writing several hundred words, being critical and careful with the things that you think are wrong with something, I think that's a challenge too, that not many people are up to.
Right. And even that, I'm of the opinion that it is not super useful, because I don't think it's going to be helpful to a reader in finding something good to read.
Here's this book that I shouldn't read. Okay.
Right. And I think that it is only useful to an author in hindsight. Maybe it would be useful to other authors in a sort of negative example context if it was nicely detailed. But
you need that feedback before you put the book out if you're going to use it.
And
and you might not want to use it, right? That thing,
you have to trust the person who's giving you criticism, and you have to care about their opinion,
and it has to be significant enough that you're willing to change it, right? The thing that person is criticizing could be one of the main features of the book, in your opinion, and you just don't want to change it. Some theme doesn't sit right with them, but that is one of the most important themes to you, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? I think we touched on this in the
editing video.
Editing video, and it's like there isn't an easy answer there.
So Michael Caine asked, how often do I decide not to write a review? And I would say it's probably about 50% of the time. I would say probably it's about 50% of the time, because I read a lot of books by the same authors if I know that I enjoy them, and they bring out something new, or they continue a series. You'll
just read it and review it without them asking you to.
Yep. I try to do a fair amount of both new and authors that I've done before. So yeah, probably about 50% of the time. Patrick says, I don't drink, do drugs, or gamble. I buy indie books as a vice. Since most are cheap for me to pretend I'll read them someday. God has to redeem me from some sin. And he asks, have I talked about why I read and review sci-fi fantasy as my focus? Because I've read a lot of fantasy, less sci-fi, more now. So a lot of the sort of classic sci-fi I have less of a background in, but fantasy I've read a lot. I have internalized a lot of the tropes and expectations, and then in reflection I'm able to talk about them in in a way where I'm confident that I'm have a valid reading, right?
Mhm.
So that's why I focus sci-fi fantasy. And yes, laser pew pew magic missile firebolt.
Yeah. I think both of us just are kind of more interested in sci-fi and fantasy because we like setting a lot.
Yes.
I mean, I for me, for sure, I really like setting. It's one of the main things I like about a book. So
Mhm.
just a interesting setting. It's hard to get that in a book that is not sci-fi or fantasy.
Yeah. And I think that sci-fi and fantasy in particular is good for imposing a suspension of disbelief that allows you to interact with archetypes
Mm-hmm.
and tropes on a level that is more less inhibitive, I guess, um, than realistic fiction, if that makes sense. And obviously, you guys know I like my archetypes and tropes.
All right. Well, I think we should probably be done for tonight. We did a few bags. We've got this whole rear wall structure going up. So I think there's going to be another story here, and then it'll be the roof. I think the next bag, though, is going to be this piece that sits alongside here.
Yeah, and this will be last.
Mm-hmm.
That will be cool.
Yeah, so we're closing in on the end here.
Yeah.
I think
that roof is gonna be.
I honestly think the roof is gonna go fast. Remember, it went pretty fast last time, so that's one I think we can knock out pretty quick. And then the upper story, is not gonna be super big because it's just a part of
it's just a portion.
This. And then the other two ends are already done, so that's gonna be about it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for hanging out with us and
for asking questions.
Asking good questions. We always have fun. And stay tuned. We're going to keep trying to do this because we want to finish this before Christmas, right?
Yeah. I would like to finish it before Christmas. Then I could get a set for Christmas.
you can get a set for Christmas? All right.
Well, I could buy you a set for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
And if you guys come across any interesting articles related to sci-fi, fantasy, indie books, reading in general, you can always send them to me for actual structured discussion.
Yeah, if you ever want topics, always feel free to ask.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we're always looking for topics. I think a lot of times we get to Monday and there isn't necessarily because we're trying not to focus on drama so much.
Right.
So, I think it's more fun to talk about this kind of thing like we did while we're doing something else and have other topics up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And there isn't always drama or anything to talk about. Sometimes it's just kind of a nice time. A nice time on Twitter. So
yeah, I'd like to talk about interesting things and not always be repeating myself. I feel like sometimes podcasts can kind of wander into repeating the same sorts of things over and over. And I would like to do some interesting discussions with you guys, either articles or videos that you find, or if you guys are interested in my giant Tolkien collection. I could talk about some of the critical books that I have and my thoughts on them. But I don't know if people are interested in that. And I am planning on doing more indie related, actually pre-recorded videos. So we'll see if I can pull that off. It's always with pre-recorded stuff. It's always a struggle of finding time and quiet. All right. Michael Kane, I'm glad you managed to remain productive. That's awesome. Good job. It's not it's not really a hint. I enjoy Legos a great deal, and I enjoy hanging out together doing them. I actually have all of the smaller sets from the current line that I wanted, so it's all bigger stuff I would have to build together.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
all right. Well, thanks again.
Yeah, have a good night.
See you.